Yeah. What's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where, as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. Yo, I'm your host for tonight, Pat Scorpio, the New England representative. And as always, I got my man with me. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Well, not as always, because it's just me, Conscious Pilot, the West Coast Avenger, number one contender, preparing for liftoff, Destination Ringing Radio. On time, baby. We on time this time.
Yes, we are. We're not on. We are definitely on that right time because a couple of our members, they can't make it tonight. Now, shout out to King P and Lord and Shuttleworth, aka Lord the Boss, aka LB. LB may join us in a little bit. It may join us a little later. P, I think, might not join us, but shout out to him though, because he's I think he's politicking right now and networking. So it's like he's still, even though he's not on the chat, he's still doing ring gang shit. So always, man. So it's just me and Conscious Pilot. We about to hold it down. My man Pilot stays elevated above the clouds. You dig? So it's so we're gonna rock. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple of previews, and as well as the fact that we are going to preview the Shakur Stevenson Edward Dos Santos doubleheader. Because that's next week. That's on a fucking Thursday. Truthfully, it's wild that we're getting that type of card on a Thursday. Like, I honestly can't remember the fact that we got a type of card like that on a Thursday. Like, I remember one time we had a Kovalev fight on a Monday. I think HBO aired that shit. And I thought that shit was wild.
Yeah, I mean, shouts out to Pro Box. I know even this week we're getting a decent Thursday card, and but this is different. This is like top rank ESPN title fight. Shakur, one of the biggest young stars on Thursday. That's pretty crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, and then and then someone also pairing that with Emmanuel Navarrete too as well. Who probably, if not for some injuries and some and some downtime, he probably should be in the pound for pound 10. Or at least pound for pound 50. Actually, he probably is pound for pound 15. He might be, what I'm saying. But we will get to that card shortly. But we had two cards this past weekend. Sort of was one that was pretty much under the radar, and one that was just like, it's a top rank card and shit like that. We'll get into the Matchroom card first. Matchroom, Eddie was in in Monte Carlo, because Eddie likes his exotic locations. Like, it's not the UK, but it's Mexico. It's like he likes his off-brand locations for his fights.
Off-brand, yeah.
I mean, they are, bro. Like
they are.
They are. Like, Eddie does. Eddie does hold fights in places. I mean, he's probably the only one of these promoters that's actually held fights in my actual area that I could actually drive to and drive home at the end of the night. He's probably the only one.
Shouts out to Eddie for that.
Yeah, like honestly, I have not been to a non-Matchroom card in my area that I've actually gone home at the end of the night, since probably 2018. No, not 2018. 2016. There we go.
Damn.
Nigga, that shit's wild, bro. Like that's so.
I know you went to the Andre card. You went to that Rhode Island. Was that the same one? The Andre card you went to?
Yeah, I said non-Matchroom card.
Non-Matchroom, yeah, non-Matchroom.
Yeah. I've been to all, like, anytime that, because Andre, it was in Providence and in Massachusetts and in New Hampshire. So I always, I was always there because and then I didn't have to like get a hotel room or Airbnb, and I could come straight home. Those are the only cards. I haven't done that with PBC since 2016, and Top Rank never has any events in New England. So yeah, so here we are. But yeah, Monte Carlo was his location there, and the main event of that one was Joe Cordina versus Edward Vasquez. But before we get into that though. And truthfully, the card was actually, I don't know about you, but the card was actually pretty damn good. Like it was
better than I expected. I ain't gonna lie. It was good all the way through. You know what I'm saying? The woman fight, the opener was fire. Yeah.
Yeah, the opening fight, which was, Bramla Ali, who's determined to avenge her loss, and it was a brutal one at that. It was incredibly brutal. In fact, me and me and King P were in the house for it in New Orleans, and we were like thinking like, God damn, against Julissa Guzman, and that one is like, she was like bobbleheaded. Like, every single time Guzman touched her, she was bobbleheaded. And then she was like brutally knocked out. Like, and that was unexpected because Guzman looked tough, but I was like, God damn, she really has some power. So, but Ramla told Eddie like, nah, we gotta run this. We gotta run this back, Chief. So yeah, sign this up as soon as we can. And also salute for Kang Sung, salute RGR in chat, salute Kang Sung, salute Chris Brand, shout Shorthand Gang. The car was good, actually. Yeah, no, it was. I know most people like to pile on Eddie for a lot of different reasons, but when he does make a good card, like you got to call that shit out. He did, because I know, like I said, a lot of people like to pile up on Eddie and then also on DAZN. And then shout out to Discord Boxing Chat, salute. But yeah, no, Ramla Ali, Julissa Guzman. Pilot, what was your thoughts on that fight, bro? Because it was actually it was more competitive than I thought it would be. Because in the chat we were all talking about the Guzman was going to repeat her win.
She was all up in her head, like in the weigh-in with her, putting her hands on her cheek and shit, just like all on some Harley Quinn evil shit. But yeah. And Ramla looks shook. I ain't gonna lie. I know it's hard to just gauge it off that, but you get knocked out brutally by a Mexican broad with tattoos on their face.
Exactly.
Like, women's boxing is, you don't see that often, So you just expected, okay, this might be. Even though people said, I think Ramla was probably winning the first fight. It was kind of close though. You know what I mean? Before she got brutally KO'd with probably the woman KO of the year.
Maybe for me, because it might be different because you watch on TV and me and
you were there, yeah, you
were were in the first or second row, like because for us it looked like she was just every single time a Guzman was touching her, she was, Ali, Ramla Ali couldn't just take her power.
That's how I felt. See, the people were saying Ramla was outboxing her the first fight. I was like, from what I saw, she was being competent, but she was getting her head sprung.
Exactly. Like, yeah, she was in there. She was tough, but she wasn't outboxing nothing. Guzman, every time Guzman touched her, she, she was bobbleheaded. She was staggering. Like, that power was too much. This time, the funny thing is too is like I think Guzman did hit her with the same shots, but I don't know what it is. But Ali didn't, she didn't stumble like she usually was before.
She kept her. She didn't get too close into those exchanges. She was weary of that because I felt like in the first fight she didn't really expect to get knocked out like that, so she did a little more reckless. She was a little bit more cautious in this fight, and there was a split second in the middle of the fight. I was like, okay, she might get rocked again, but she kind of somehow,
Yeah, and honestly, truthfully, I thought Guzman did land plenty. Like, Ali was busy, but Guzman was still stalking her and still walking her down in stages of that fight, and Guzman was landing. I was thinking it was like every single time that Guzman was landing, I'm thinking to myself I was going to see another bobbleheaded action or stuff like that. But Ramla Ali, she hung tough or whatever, and it seemed like also in the later rounds that Ali was actually hurting Guzman a little bit. I don't know if that's what it looked like to you, Pilot.
I did see it. It seemed like Guzman was a little gassing out a little bit, and obviously Ramla was actually boxing competent and hitting her often, so it kind of did make I did notice her getting a little hurt every so often.
Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, no way, because I was like, if Ramla Ali stopped this, then I know Vegas would be like, what the fuck, yeah, because we looked at those odds, and like the Ramla KO was like plus like 5,000 or 6,000, something crazy like that. Because I was thinking to myself, if that shit happens, I was like to say, oh shit, that shit would have been crazy, But salute though, salute. But when the decision was read, I honestly thought that. I know it was controversial. But I do think that Ramla actually did enough to win the fight.
Yeah, I don't see people thought it was a gift. I know Ramla's popular because she does a lot of like stuff, I guess, for women. I don't know, but she's like Ramla is pretty popular when it comes to women boxing relative to her status, right?
Yeah.
She gets a lot of the hate of like, oh, she got a gift. I was like, no, I thought she won that fight. It was, I mean, it was, I thought she won what? It was 10 rounds. I thought she won like 7-3.
Yeah, it's 7-3. I know all the judges were like 96, 94.
That
And
was
yeah,
good.
and like I had no problem with it. It was that close to fight, but I thought Ramla did more than enough to win the fight. And I was trying to figure out where the controversy was. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I see.
I mean, I get it. Most people thought Ramla would get knocked out. I thought we would get knocked out, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Like Ramla hung tough in there with someone that had the power to knock her block off, and she took that and she got her win back. So I have to respect it because it was a short turnaround. Because anyone that got brutally knocked out like how she got knocked out, you'd be thinking like, God damn, maybe I need to avoid, or maybe I need to take a warm up first. But no, she went back into the fire.
Straight into it, yeah. That was, which we all thought was kind of weird, but whatever. It worked. It worked.
It worked, yeah, it worked. And she got the decision. So, I mean, like I said, tough. Like both women, need to be applauded for not fucking around with the rematch. Guzman, for still putting in the effort, to gave Ramla a fight, and then Ramla being able to, this time, improve her defense, kept her hands busy, kept her feet moving, and not getting into silly exchanges and stuff like that.
Would you want to see a third one, or just let it pass? Would you want to see a trilogy in that, or not?
I mean, I would love to see a trilogy, bro. Like, I mean, it was one of those fights where, like I said, it was that close enough, and it has this little minor controversy to it that, you can sell a third fight.
You could sell that as like a co-main on a smaller card. To be honest, it could be a little co-main or something on one of the small.
Exactly. Absolutely. And then I see Android, you checked in. Shout out Android. Things are going to heat up in boxing again. Once Thursday hits late November to the end of the year, stupid stack. Yeah, it is. Like, I know this week and next week too, there's going to be a lull. And it happens, there's always going to be lulls in boxing. The weekends, there's not going to be a lot of, there's not going to be a lot of notable cards like that. But, it happens. But, December is absolutely stacked. And so is end of November too. And then the next fight, though, was was it the, let's see, I'm trying to think, which one was the next? Now, was the title fight the co-main? I'm just trying to remember, or was it the Sissoko fight? I always forget.
The Sissoko fight was after that, which I guess I don't know if you want to talk about that. It was an okay fight. I'm still not throwing Sissoko fully, but
yeah, Sissoko. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, he fought better than what he usually does, but it's like one of those things. Is like he scored a vicious knockdown in round 2. And truthfully, I thought he would have stepped on the gas to try to get Dude out of it because Dude was plenty hurt. But
yeah, he was.
But he did. And he just stayed in first gear and did what was just picking.
It got boring. The fight started off good, but then it just got he started coasting, and it was like because there was I think in the first round, the Mexican dude hit him with a looping left that stunned Sissoko pretty bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had him on Queer Street for
a couple times. He hit him with that left that made Sissoko kind of stop in his tracks. And I was like, oh shit! But then it just kind of after Sissoko dropped him, he just kind of Demetrius Andre'd it.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and like I said, it was just like because Sissoko clearly had the power to hurt him, but he just stayed in first gear, and he won a comfortable decision. And like I said, in Sissoko, I do think. I mean, I can see that he has talent though, but if you want to get some big fights, you got to get some bigger victories, like someone like Lucero, tough guy. Lucero was tough because he hung in there even after that knockdown. But now if Sissoko had at least kept his foot on the gas and try to get rid of Dude, and Dude was just being tough, that'll be another thing. That'll be like, okay, he tried to get him out of there. But him like staying in first gear and not really and just concentrating on point, and it was a 12-round fight too. Like, nah, like. That's not the type of fight you should go for a decision. Like you gotta put your foot in somebody's ass.
Yeah, especially in the welterweight division. You're like the only welterweight Eddie really has. You could have, stood out. Make Eddie want to break a buck for you, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, Dude needs to just a minor tweak. Just try to get that shit. Try to get that shit right because, like I said, he has talent though, but. you know, if you want people to actually see you fight, you know, and if you're already hurting people, but you're letting them off the hook, you know, that's no good. You know, I
No,
mean,
no good at all. Yep, no good.
absolutely. But and then the co-main though, the co-main honestly was the, you know, it produced what we call another KO of the year. Now, I would say in the light flyweights, you know, a lot of the stereotypes with the light flyweights is that they don't have a lot of power, that they hit each other like 450 a lot of
Pillow
times.
fist, rock'em sock'em yawn type shit. That's what they say.
Yeah, and you know, and they don't necessarily knock each other out. Well, one flyweight decided to, you know, he was gonna rewrite the narrative on that one, where Adrian Curiel, who was a sizable underdog in the fight, you know, he's 23-4-1 with only 5 KOs or 4 KOs at the time, challenging Siv Nanshinga, who could punch. 12 was undefeated, 12-0 with 9 KOs, and could absolutely punch. Yeah. So you're like thinking to yourself, like, oh, this is just gonna be like this is just gonna be, because I didn't think Curiel would actually win, but he ended things in round 2 with a blistering overhand right. Like that's honestly, I didn't think he even had that much power. I mean, what did you think when Curiel landed that overhand?
That was a nice calculated shot, you know, like, because I know the guys like only had 3-4 knockouts, you know, like he's not a power puncher, but he landed that shot perfectly, and he gave Natshinga that quote unquote Tyson Fury, what Pirog did Danny Jacobs, quick nap, you know that.
Dude took a quick fucking nap. Like dude was underneath the ropes taking a nap.
He was down for a good 6-7 seconds and woke up. You know, just like the Fury, and not, you know, you see it a few times with the first fight with Wilder did on Fury and the Pirog on Danny Jacobs, but it was just like, gee, like out the blue, because you know that Shingo was supposed to be a new South African, you know, crown jewel for Eddie. You know?
Yeah, like I think they're already counting the birds before they hatch, because they're talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna get into this unification, this unification is that, and just like that, his shit was over. Like
ruined the plans. The unknown lesser Mexican, you know. On the Eddie card.
Another Mexican. Eddie, I swear, Eddie's the only one. Like I said, every single time that Eddie always brings someone who's a unknown Mexican or a Mexican that they brings to lose, they always 9 out of 10 times they score these wild upsets.
Yeah, that was a people say it's upset of the year. I mean, it could be, I guess, up there.
It's up there. I mean, it's up there. I mean, certainly KO. It's certainly KO of the year candidate for goddamn sure. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's up there. But hey, man, Adrian Curiel, man's the new light flyweight champion of the world, man. So salute him, like I said, because that shit was sudden too. Whereas Sissoko, we thought would get rid of him, would get rid of dude early. I was fully expecting that chicken to go some rounds. I just didn't expect that to happen. So. Definitely salute to Curiel for that fight.
Yeah. That was second round, right? That was second round.
It was a second round knockout, not one punch. Second round knockout. Like I said, you don't see those at light flyweight. You don't.
You don't see those. You don't see it.
Like usually the knockouts are kind of accumulation. That one was just a one shot. That was a one hitter quitter.
Yeah. That's a perfect shot. You know what I'm saying?
It was. Yeah. And salute Lukey. I see you says this schedule sucks.
Yeah, Thursday Loki is a good Thursday card, but it's hardcore. Colin Walsh versus Villarreal, which is kind of like nobody really cares, but we'll be watching.
Yeah, but Luke, are you talking about the schedule to close out the year? Like, what schedule are you talking about, bro? Like, which ones? What are you talking about? I know this is a light. I know this week, this week is incredibly light, and so is next week is gonna be light too, and until the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
But yeah, Ken Sandoval's on it. But yeah, Colin Walsh, Villarreal's nice 154 fight.
Oh, this week, this week it's absolutely light. It's positively absolutely light this week.
Yeah, it's light. It's until the Benavides. Benavides on Andre 25th. Yeah, that's when it picks back.
Yeah, that and Cameron, Katie Taylor too. That's that was.
Yeah, and they got my boy Diego Pacheco on the 18th too. So I mean, it's far for the course.
Yeah, and like I said, we've had more than enough cards, so it's not like it's not we're in the pandemic years.
Yeah,
in the pandemic years where Like niggas would be starving for this, But and of course, now it takes us to our main event with Joe Cordina and Edward Vasquez. One thing about Cordina, though, I honestly think he's getting to be slightly overrated because because this is the second fight in a row for him that I've seen like people are putting hands on dude. I don't know if it looked like to you, but it looked like people were like Joe Cordina was getting hands put on him by Edward Vasquez like often.
Yeah, if Vasquez had more power, that could have been a different outcome. I'm just saying, like, because Vasquez only had like 3-4 KOs out of 20 whatever fights. Like if it seems like towards the end of the fight or the second half, Vasquez was controlling the pace of that fight.
Yeah.
Cordina's not a bad fighter, but here I don't want to fight Shaky Foster. I don't know, the money's not there, but you're fighting in Monaco for a decent payday. But still, it's like, come on, man, like, whatever, go move up or we're gonna fight Wood next, probably. I don't know. I'm just kind of
but is it? Because number one, I don't know what it is. Because it just seems like he's still riding the wave because when he beat Ogawa by a one punch knockout in the second round. Again, that was unexpected because he wasn't showing that type of power before. So it's like, and then we had the Rakhimov fight, and Rakhimov was a whole war. Like that shit was a real war, and he got hands put on him in that one.
Yeah, it was a good fight. He dropped him, no?
He dropped him in the second round. Yeah,
but it wasn't. It was obviously he hasn't really. I'm saying he's a one-hit wonder so far because Cordina doesn't seem like he's a quality fighter, but I still don't know his level as a 130 in the 130. Obviously, Navarrete's level pretty elite.
Cordina's is not, and then Edward Vasquez, like. I know we talked about before. Edward Vasquez is like a sleeper. Like Edward Vasquez, could honestly feasibly be undefeated fight. Like, dude, like his record is deceiving. Like, it was 15-1 with 3 knockouts, but he gave Raymond Ford his hardest fight. It arguably beat Raymond Ford.
Yeah,
like
he probably got jobbed up on that fight. I remember, but I do like the post fight was like. Kind of adds to all the entertainment because Vasquez was like, "Fuck that, I got robbed." Basically, they kind of went back and forth.
Yeah.
I hope Vasquez earns himself another, the zone spot somewhere on a card because he did his thing. He brought the fight.
Yeah, Vasquez. Yeah, because let's see, Lukey said Edward Vasquez is a true gatekeeper who never had the politics on his side. I don't know if he's not on. I don't think as a gatekeeper. Because if he was a gatekeeper, he would have more losses on his record. But then, like I said, he has the Raymond Ford fight, which was he should have lost, he should have won, and then the Cordina fight, which he has an argument for winning because, as you mentioned before, Pilot, like he was controlling the fight down. He was outworking Cordina down the stretch.
Down the stretch. I might have had it maybe a draw. I can see why the A side won, but that was a close fight either way. I felt like.
Yeah, but I wasn't no damn 116, 112.
No 8-4. 8-4 was already preset, preset bullshit.
Yeah, the draw. Yeah, the draw score that one judge gave it was accurate enough. Like I had nothing, but saying that the Cordina won 116, 112 in that fight, there was no 116, 112 in that fight. Like not even in the list. Yeah, 7-5, whatever, but there was no 8-4 in there.
That was 7-5 either way. 7-5 either way, draw type vibe for sure.
Right, and like I said, and honestly, I can see why Vasquez, because Vasquez, he went off too. Like he was like, "Oh, you don't have Daddy, I don't have Daddy Eddie to save me." And going in, it's like, "Yeah, this is probably Cordina's last fight at 130," which would be funny if he says that's true.
That would be a weak way to go out. But then again, I did see because Cordina did look a little dry in terms of the weigh-in, and I guess half his fights has been at 135. So maybe he's a natural lightweight. Maybe.
He might be. Like you just never know with some of these guys too. But and then it wasn't like he did fight earlier this year. But yeah, like if he's because I remember if you're coming in, if you're getting off your scales and you're looking gaunt and shit like that, then you probably it might be talking about, but he's the whole champion now. So it's like 135 right now is more than held up right now. So that's why, so I don't blame him if he's not moving back up again. Mm-hmm. And he has fights at 130. but it just remains to be seen. You know,
You never, yeah, exactly.
I mean, Mookie. I mean, Andy Cruz is gonna face Hector Tanahara. Like that's a solid fight. You know, that's a solid fight for him right now. You know, especially especially for a second fight. So I mean, it could be down the line. You know, absolutely. And shout out to King Sung. Yeah, watch this later, beginning to end. You know, peace out. You know, obviously, always, always, salute you for coming on for listening to our show and everything like that. But yeah, no, Cordina. Yeah, and Cordina, he was like, don't make any excuses. But yeah, that wasn't one of those fights because he said because Cordina said you have to be elite to beat him, and it's just like in Vasquez. Like I said, Vasquez is definitely a great fighter. He's a great fighter he's a quality fighter at super featherweight. So, like to say that if you don't think he is, then you're just basically you're lying to yourself. Like Vasquez is everything. That's why I don't agree with Lukey saying that he's a gatekeeper. I think he's a true blue contender.
Well, I think so. When it comes to gatekeeper, people have different definitions of a gatekeeper and a contender. You know what I'm saying, or a prospect. Everybody. Because some people will look at a fighter like John Ennis as a prospect, and clearly he's not a prospect; he's a contender. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just different. I mean, he looks like he might be a high-level gatekeeper now, but I hope his next fight is more of a winnable fight to get him, back on a, at least for like people that aren't used to seeing him, more on a positive, outlook.
Yeah, but the funny thing is too, for Edward Vasquez, I always thought that he was actually signed to Eddie. So that's why I was thinking to myself. Why is he going to Eddie? Why is he mentioning Daddy Eddie so much like that? Because I always thought he was actually signed to do.
Probably one of those, quote unquote hybrid two-way deals. Where like we need you to fight on this card as the B-side. Yeah,
because if Vasquez had actually beaten Ray Ford on the cards or whatever, then Eddie would try to sign him. Like okay, we'll sign you.
You have no choice. You want to keep that belt.
Yeah, and then Lukey, the way Cordina acted after fight, yeah, it did rub me wrong too. Like it was just like, because he was trying to save face because it wasn't a dominating performance, even though the judges clearly thought it was, and it clearly wasn't. So Cordina was because Cordina should probably breathe a sigh of relief that he actually won that fight.
Yep, he got the benefit of the doubt, definitely.
Because I always say this too: if a fighter has more than enough energy to talk shit the way that Vasquez was talking, you didn't whip him. You didn't whip him enough. You didn't beat him enough. You know what I'm saying? I said the same shit before when Chris Areola dropped Andy Ruiz, and Andy had a hell of a night with dude. Even though I thought Andy did clearly win the fight, but the fact that Areola was out there, running his mouth the way he was, is like he wasn't beaten enough. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, Cordina. In truth, I definitely agree. If Cordina fought like a Navarrete or an Oshaki Foster, who for some reason doesn't want no smoke with Foster whatsoever, does not want it.
He said there's no money. He said he literally came out before that saying, "Oh, there's no money in that fight." Okay, whatever, buddy.
Yeah, there's no money. No,
that's just duck language. That's just quack, quack, quack. That's what that is.
Yeah, because he saw what happened in the Rocky Hernandez fight. He saw, Foster. Unlike Cordina, Foster stopped somebody I didn't think he could stop, and he stopped him convincingly. Yeah. It's like in a back and forth war. So it's like, Cordina does not want those type of problems. And Lukey, Foster's on a different level, and Wood might beat him. Wood right now is, I mean,
he's kind of washed. I don't know. I don't like in his first fight at 130. That'd be tough. Maybe
it would absolutely be. It would be tough doing it. And I get it. Like Ward, he gave up the belt because he was getting a little. It was getting harder to make the weight. And I get it. You got to do what you got to do. But Wood. Because Wood is always interesting because Wood carries his power late into the fights, like really late into the fight. And he just recently brutally knocked out another volume puncher. So so it's like, yeah, like honestly, if Wood is an underdog in that fight, I would put all types of money on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then shouts out to I do agree, Luki Cordina. He's definitely gonna get dropped the way he gets hit. Yeah, I mean he's not. He's one of those guys that aren't bad at anything, but his defense he gets hit a lot. I mean that's like who doesn't get hit a lot this day and age. But yeah, he's
yeah, no, because one thing, because I said the same thing both in this fight and the Rakamov fight. I was like, Cordina gets hit with a lot of silly shit, like usually just little punches. I'm thinking to myself that's not, and I don't say that about every fighter like that, but usually when I start saying that fighters are getting hit with some silly shit, they're getting hit with some shit that he shouldn't be getting hit with, you know. And like I said, it's only a matter of time that someone with some power, like Rakamov had power. He just, but he was just Cordero was just tough, But someone's got to make him pay for taking all them silly ass shots that he be taking.
yeah, he's definitely. Yeah, he definitely is like I won't say he's plateaued, but again, we don't know his level. Maybe his level is just not the top level. I don't know. He's a champion, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. He's a champion. He's a two-time champion at that. So it's like,
oh yeah, I forgot he lost it the first time, right? And he won it back. Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, they took his belt because
he lost it, but because of his injury, he had like an eye injury or some shit, right?
Yeah, hand injury.
Hand injury. IBF. They want to. IBF still tough when they want to be.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But like overall though, Eddie did put out a good watchable card. So it's like there's no you can't you have to get like I know people like to dump on Eddie and DAZN and Matchroom and all that, for different reasons, but it was definitely a very watchable card and it was entertaining for what it was. Like Cordina Vasquez it was probably very close to probably a fight of the year type of brawl because it was a hard fight. It wasn't as dramatic as Rakamov though, because Rakamov was really hurting Cordina, whereas Vasquez was just outworking him. So, but no, it was a good showing from Eddie, and as he's his lineup of fights are on their way and everything like that. So salute to him and salute Nathaniel. I see you too, Sal. I see you joined. Thank you for joining the show.
It was one of his better cards this year. I mean, from what I can tell from recent memory, I felt like one of his stronger cards.
Yeah. Like I said, it's always like Eddie, like the cards you don't really expect from him. Those are the cards that are like, oh shit, there's actually some action on this shit. Like it's actually solid all the way through. But when it's not, it's like, geez, it's like it's like the New Orleans card that being put into. It's like, it started out good, but it just ended up terrible. and no one.
The Regis card, right? Zarella.
Yeah, the Zarella card. Yeah, like, yeah, like the way those fans emptied out the Smoothie King after that decision was read. They didn't even bother. They didn't even want to hear what Prograis had to say. They were like, nah, bro, like, you kind of struggle. Like we gone. Oh man, though. But yeah, like Joe Cordina should absolutely face O'Shaquie Foster. Like that should be like, it's like, I mean, he's at super featherweight. Like what fucking fight is he gonna look at? Like if he goes to 130, unless he goes to
it's definitely gonna be the Lee Wood fight if anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be because Lee Wood is at least it's probably Lee Wood's probably more beatable for him right now.
Because usually after a fighter wins a title, right? Like after sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. I just wanted to mention, like when Foster won the 130 title on PBC, I thought PBC would automatically sign him. You know what I'm saying? Like how they signed Hector. Anytime a fighter wins a title, they get signed basically by that platform. I don't hear anything about him with Matchroom, so obviously I think O'Shaquie rather do the free agent, not be for now at least.
In truth, it's not bad because at least as long as he's not signed to a promoter, like he can actually he can look for the fights with all the 130 champions.
Yeah, maybe he found the proper management because not a lot of guys have that flexibility of being able to go.
Well, dude was signed to Probellum via Disrupt Promotion, so when he got his released, but I don't know who he's actually signed for. But if he can go from PBC to Matchroom, like he clearly has a lot of freedom.
Speaking of Probellum, we need that boy Charles Conwell to get on one of these big platforms. soon.
Yeah, because Charles Conwell. And I know Lukey. Shout. Obviously, is one of big Charles Conwell's biggest fans. I know we talked about Conwell with him plenty of times. Yeah, Conwell is too damn talented to be in where he is right now
In no
in
man's
limbo right
land.
now.
Yeah, I know he's with DeBella, but I think him and DeBella decide to part ways. But it's just like, damn, we need really. He needs to be in that PBC 154. I mean, be real. He needs to be on that, in that PBC one super welterweight, mix.
Yeah, he does. He absolutely, positively does. But I mean, as we all know, PBC is going through. It's winding down on Showtime, and we are just patiently waiting what PBC's next move is actually going to be.
That them announcement would be nice sometime soon, but
well, he probably can't. They can't do that while they're still, because they're still contractually bound.
Yeah, fair. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because then it might be breach of contract and shit like that. It's a whole bunch of stuff, so they can't do that. They have to. If anything, it's probably gonna be all rumors for that until probably after the final card on December 16th. That's December 16th is the final Showtime PBC Showtime card.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we will probably know by New Year's, but we won't know before that, outside of any rumors and stuff like that. Or of course, if me, you, King P, or LB get blessed with any type of inside information like we are from time to time.
Yeah. And not let that fake shit everybody, because you hear all the rumors, but it's all rumors until it's confirmed.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and then also we had another card, on there, that was happening on Saturday night from Top Rank, and this one was just more or less. I think it's probably, I don't know, one would probably call it a throwaway card, but it didn't have any throwaway fights like that, on there. Of course, we're talking about F.A. Ajaba. He's facing Joseph Godot, who was coming off his brutal upset of Stephen Shaw. And like I say, there's nothing wrong with a heavyweight fight. I mean, everyone loves a heavyweight fight. If the heavyweight, especially is swinging and punching and knocking somebody out. You're right.
Straight up. Yep.
But this card though the undercard did have some stuff on there. Like it was a very there were some upsets. There was one of shoutouts to, I know Lukey mentioned but I think it's Angel Angel. I always say it's either one of Rabola, and upsetting Omar Rosario by decision. And that was a really, really, really good fight.
The Rosario, the Puerto Rican guy that lost to 0?
Yeah, he lost to 0.
Yeah. I watched that one. Yeah.
Did
you catch that Morales fight? That guy Lacey should have won, bro.
Yeah, no, I call all of them. Yeah, I call all the. Yeah, this shit was. Yeah,
Morales. I've seen him struggle before, and I was like, okay, this guy Lacey is a big dude from Indiana, undefeated. You notice that whenever PBC faces, whenever Top Rank faces, their prospect faces somebody who's undefeated, it's a different type of fight than fighting the jobber, the 5-3 guy.
Yeah, Antonio Morales. Honestly, I don't think. I know they want to push him because he's a Mexican, he's a heavyweight, and he's 6'9", but. Dude doesn't impress me at all. Nothing about him impresses me. There's something about him that's just he reminds me of a Mexican Ty Fields, and that's not a good flattering comparison.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's not. And that guy Lacey, I saw an interview after the fact. Seems really down to earth, talks like a nigga. But either way,
yeah, he does.
He should have won that fight, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He won that 4-2. You know what I'm saying? But he kind of let off. I guess he let off in the end. And
the funny thing is too, Skylar Lacey is not even that damn good either. He's not. But he was basic boxing Morales' head off until he got tired.
He was better than Morales. You know what I'm saying?
And I think if it wasn't for Morales hurting him late in the fight, Lacey probably should have won that fight by decision. He should have won the fight, but I think the judges looked at, because Lacey was the one that was getting hurt near the end of the fight.
Yeah,
but hung on.
Yeah, he hung on. He fumbled in the bag.
Yeah, but if I had to put money on who's the next top ranked prospect to lose to 0, it's gonna be that guy. that guy. Like, yeah, I don't see it. I do not see it with that dude at all. Like,
Yeah.
not even a little bit.
I mean, he's basically Guido's better boxer than him. You know what I'm saying? Like Guido's
Yeah,
clearly a better boxer than him. You know what I'm saying? Guido lost his 0, so it's just a matter of time.
yeah. It's only a matter of time because I excited because his level right now is like he should be brutally knocking. Like if he was the goods, he should be brutally knocking out these guys, and he's not. I mean, he is, but he's not. It doesn't look like he's. It looks like he's struggling.
Majorly, yeah, majorly.
Yeah, and then
because even this fight before this and a couple fights before, he was in struggle mode. So it's like, yeah, nah,
yeah,
you're about to lose your 0 for sure.
Yeah, and then there was another fighter on there too that that should be more to be moved up. Lindolfo Delgado, like that guy should be. That guy is ready for a big fight because, like I said, last year him and Omar Aguilar, like those two went to war. Like, that might be one of the best 8-round wars I've seen in a long fucking time. Which Delgado won.
Yeah. But he hasn't. But then he hasn't really built up since then, except Saturday. He hasn't really followed up with that, should I say?
Yeah, because I was thinking they would try to step up his competition because he fights at 140, so I was like, put him in there. He had some fights after that, and they were cool, whatever, but he didn't really make a good impression, like that. Like it wasn't like the Aguilar fight where dude went to war and won a war. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Luis Ramos, like he tried though, but geez, like talk about a brutal knockout. Like
that was vicious. Yeah, that was a vicious KO.
That was a vicious highlight reel KO.
Yeah, that one was.
Yeah, like honestly, Top Rank needs to throw needs to throw him in a tough fight afterwards. Like dude could probably handle that type of fight.
Yeah, the thing with 140 on Top Rank, like. It seems like for the longest time they had one of the stronger stables, but it feels like it's top heavy or like prospect level, and Delgado's kind of in the middle. He's like my term prospender. He's like he's not ready for the fight the Teofimos and the Jose Ramirez's. And maybe he could fight a Jose Ramirez and win, but I'm just saying like, but he's also not. He's too high of a risk for like a Tiger Johnson and some of those guys at one. You know what I mean? At 140. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. He's kind of.
But yeah,
like if Barboza was there, real quick. If Barboza was there, that'd be the perfect fight. But Barboza left. That'd be the perfect fight to make. But
Barboza. I don't know. Barboza right now. I don't know what he's planning to do because, like, dude is just like all over the place now. Like he's a free agent, but yeah, he's not doing shit right now. So it's just like, what are you gonna do with that? But Top Rank, however, did have a gem of a fight, and this is one of the fights that doesn't necessarily happen all that often on Top Rank cards because when we talk about Top Rank cards, it's always like I wouldn't say they're jobber festivals, but we get a lot of WWF superstar type fights. You get the star, and then you get someone who may be a jobber or a jobber to the stars, and you think, okay, they're supposed to win. This one was a fight between two real prospects with Henry LeBron and William Foster III. And William Foster III, ironically, is the man that took the 0 of one Edwin De Los Santos on Showbox, who of course is gonna be fighting next week too. But you think that someone that he took that dude 0, but he's been pretty much fighting in what you call obscurity.
Yeah, he was on Pro Box a couple 3 months ago, getting a nice knockout. Like literally, like less than 3 months ago. More 2 months ago, and this was a big fight for him. He's 30. I didn't realize until last week he was about 30 years old. I thought he was still a younger, prospect, but this was like kind of like a do or die. This was
William Foster is a guy from my area of Connecticut. Like he's a town over from me. Like I was like, so it's like he's probably one of Connecticut's Connecticut's like best prospect right now in terms of actually trying to do something. And like I said, William Foster can fight. So like, and what we got was a hell of a fucking fight. Like honestly, like I mean, like this shit was like honestly, this if I had to say this was probably the most underrated fight of the year, this is probably it because it should really get more attention than what it actually got. Like they fought like they fought. It was a war, but it was a technical war. Like you could tell that like their minds were processing shit like a mile a minute.
It was high level, yeah.
High level fight.
I heard LeBron was hitting him with the left hooks nonstop. Just the catch
Yeah.
left hooks were landing for LeBron.
Because what happened was Foster like would land the ropes, try to and not do anything, and it was letting LeBron like hit him with all types of hooks and shit like that, and also the body shots too. Ghost got to mention that too. Like that was the secret for LeBron actually winning the fight. He went to Foster's body early and kept going to the body, and dude just wore down. Like it was just. Like, and he wore him down himself. But Foster, though, was tough, though. He was tough. Like, he hung in there and everything like that. Because there were times that he got hurt. And then there was times where LeBron got hurt, too. But it was just, it was one of the fights where I was just like, I was standing up. I was like, oh, damn. Like,
I missed that when I was hyping it up. So I heard it was really high level. And, because I've seen Henry LeBron, and he's never looked, because remember that LeBron versus LeBron fight. But this is probably the best you've seen him look, Pat? The best you've probably seen
easily, bro.
I heard it was really good, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, he, like say, he won that fight. Like, he beat Foster because it was a majority decision. Although I don't agree with the 99-91. The 99-91, it was not. It was not a 99-91 fight. Like, the other scores was 96-94 and then the draw, which are in the area, but it was not no 99-91 for Henry LeBron. Like it was not at all. That was some incompetent judging.
Yeah, that's always.
But salute to LeBron. Like honestly, like they can run that back though, and I know Foster because he was just on Pro Box like two months ago.
Yeah. Well, do you think that Henry LeBron is ready for like say Abraham Nova or maybe not yet?
Oh yeah, no, he's ready. He's ready.
How about Valdez? Valdez kind of old, a little washed now. How about or not yet? Oscar.
I wouldn't say Oscar Valdez yet. Like,
but Nova would be a good barometer. Abraham Nova would be the perfect.
Yeah, Abraham Nova would be a really good barometer, but Valdez is a little bit too seasoned right now.
Yeah, he's a little too. Even though he's lost a couple, but yeah, he's still.
And I'm just taking a look at Anthony Manzano's question. Who do you guys rather for Foster go against? Cruz, Cordina, or Navarrete?
Wait, which Cruz? Well, which Cruz are you talking about?
Which Cruz are you talking about?
Pitbull?
You talking about Pitbull Cruz? Because Pitbull, I mean,
he's at 135. He's small, but he's at 130.
He's at 135.
But between maybe Hector Luis Garcia. Between the three champs, I'd rather see Navarrete. He's the only one at the 130 champs I feel like could maybe legitimately challenge Navarrete.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like if a Foster, I would welcome a Foster Navarrete fight. Shit, like
that's a great fight.
Yeah, that's a great fight. I would. Oh, Andy Cruz.
I mean, Foster's at 130 right now, so I don't say right now, but maybe down the line if he moves up.
Yeah, because I mean, Andy Cruz is at 135 right now. So, and Cruz, like I said, I mean, right now, I think Cruz is one of the ones I need to see more from. Like, I mean, I know it's David like that, but I need to see more from. As in, I need to see dude get some knockouts at least.
Yeah. He can't be. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he is high touted and he's quote unquote Keyshawn's daddy. Other people say, and he's talented. I mean, he clearly he 10-0'd or what Burgos, who's a really veteran, really good veteran.
Fighting Burgos, someone dangerous like that, and winning a decision. That's I can respect
opener, that. And you probably didn't lose a round. You got some true talent.
Yeah, and then he's fighting Hector Tanahara on the he's Hector Tanahara on the Devin Haney.
You're gonna need you need to continue the Cuban school of boxing upgraded because we're gonna need a little bit. We need to get some guys out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be 10-0 with 0 knockouts like you're Sky Nichols. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Like Cruz, but I want to see if you can because some of these amateurs like sometimes like they do that, but I need to see him get some knockouts now because if any Cruz knocks out Tanahara, it will at least tell me a little something more that he has some. He really does have a little. They can actually sit down his punches. But in terms of anyone who has not seen the LeBron Foster fight, do yourself a favor and go see that. It's highly fucking recommended. Highly recommended. And then it brings us into the co-main of the card, Raymond Muratalla and Diego Torres. Now, Raymond Muratalla, I'm sorry, he put his foot in Diego Torres' ass. Like, that wasn't like, Muratalla definitely looked like an actual contender in this fight because Torres can punch, but Torres just seemed to had nothing. Like, from the opening bell, like, dude was just getting boxed up. Muratalla was showing him angles, countering him, like, hit him with all types of, like, dude was ridiculous. Pilot, did you see this fight? I know you.
Yeah, I definitely saw this fight. I mean, I've been high on Muratalla. I think Muratalla has been, entered the top 10 lightweights, discussion on the back half of the top 10 and creeping up. I thought Tim Bradley was going a little too crazy with the ride and pause. Tim Bradley was going a little too crazy with it. I mean, I know the guy Torres was undefeated Mexican power puncher. He had nothing for him from the get-go. You could tell. I know that, he was a club level, 18-0 type of guy. Nothing's wrong with that, but there's levels. Muratalla's with Robert Garcia has true power. I know he got dropped a few fights ago, but he's improved since then. But at the same time, some of the hype he's getting all of a sudden for that's a little much.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking because sometimes with the Mexican fights, it's either if you see it 18-0 with 17 knockouts record, it's either they're like a Navarrete before they got signed to Samson, or they're just they're knocking out club fighters, because like I said, but in this particular case, it didn't look like Torres didn't have nothing from Muratalla. And
Muratalla still assigned, he didn't get hit. He's saying he blocked a flawless performance, so I'm not going to hate on it. It was a great performance, but
no, it really was. I honestly didn't think it was going to be that one-sided like it was.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be one. I mean, again, we might have seen Torres on a pro box or some sort of club card, but I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect an ass whooping like that. So I mean, it's a performance from.
I don't know. Like when Muratalla finally put him down, probably dropped him. Yeah, that was a wrap.
I think you think it was a little premature. It was a good stoppage.
No, it was a good stoppage. Torres took 8 rounds. Torres took 8 of a steady beating. Yeah, he did. Like, I had no problem with that stoppage. Like, they needed to pull him out.
I didn't either, but Tim Bradley's dick riding was a little annoying.
Yeah, Tim. I don't know, Tim. Like, ever since Andre Ward, got dismissed from Top Rank,
he's been sort of pretty bad, right?
Yeah, his commentary has been borderline wild. Like,
yeah, I used to fuck with Timmy Tough, and then lately, I don't know. Lately, it's just like, geez, bro, what do you?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, because it's almost taking me back to the days when it was him and Teddy Atlas, and because he was giving me this, because in a way, because he was giving me the vibes, like, obviously, when him and Teddy did commentary for Pacquiao, Jeff Horn, and you could tell that both these guys had been drinking and were in the sun too long, and and they were saying all types of wild shit, like fucking Bradley, of course, with his Japans. And I was like, word, Tim? Like, this, we going back to that 1930s racism that you find in the Looney Tunes cartoons? Like, yeah, dude was wild. And then, when he got paired with Andre Ward and Testator, he dialed back and, his commentary improved. But now I think it's just I don't know what he's doing now with his commentary. It's like
he took over. I mean, because I know Ward sometimes would chill a little bit with the HBO influence, but he kind of went OD lately. I mean, you don't think he was being a little overbearing on Muratalla a little bit the way he's saying?
Oh, he was. Yeah, it's not the only time too. Like that, and motherfucker was obsessed with Keyshawn Davis taking an L. Like,
and he also said after the State of Boxing show, I'll tell you right now, Muratalla will beat Haney. Well, you just, I don't know, you just saying, man,
Yeah,
why are you saying that for? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, dude, like, bruh, like, I get it, Top Rank, but you can't be out here on some Homer shit. Like, you gotta tone
maybe
that
because he's with Pro Box now, and Pro Box has more freedom of speech. Because I'll be watching some Pro Box, some of their some of their videos with Paulie and Chris.
He does. He does show up on there, doesn't he?
And now I think him and Atlas are actually signed, quote unquote, signed to them, so they're on a lot of the X segments,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
it's just I was like, damn, Timmy, like, it's like yeah. And then of course there's that, and then motherfucker will be on some random shit like nigga calling himself hot chocolate with 2 T's and shit like that. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing? It's like, what is your problem? And then they'll show him like vibing with the music and shit like that. Like, I get it. Like, Timmy, like I think Timmy now is, I think he's either just trying to adjust without having an Andre Ward, to play the straight man to what he does.
Or he's just overcompensating and has to just go overboard with it. Yeah,
Yeah, because he doesn't have any chemistry with Tessitore or something like that. Like,
yeah. They need nothing. They need somebody else. They need a third or fourth mic or whatever.
yeah, like because like I say, when he was paired with Teddy himself Teddy can carry a product. Of course, Top Rank, he's pretty much done with ESPN and commenting on regular boxing like that. So it's just like, yeah, they do need somebody there, like, because I feel like someone in there that can vibe with Timmy, but also can try to keep some of his silly shit. Like, because I was like, Jesus Christ, bro, like, what are we doing?
Straight up.
But yeah, though. But then it takes us to our main event with F.A. Ajaba and Joe Goodall. And I'll say this too, because a couple of fights ago, like the fight, before the fight he had with Kasabuski, Bob Arum did an interview where he publicly called out F.A. Jabba for not being exciting or anything like that. And usually that's very rare for Bob Arum to do. Like he called him out his name and everything and said like, yeah, no, he needs to be more exciting than this than for it, because when you start getting that, you start getting because Top Rank has been known to let people go just off one bad loss, like because that's why you have Elvis Rodriguez, like that, or someone who didn't even lose yet, like Edgar Berlanga, like it's
Fact, straight up.
yeah. So there, and F.A. Jabba, before it was I fought on PBC, and then a whole change happened, and then he's on Top Rank. So pretty much like he was forced to like fight in a way that's more exciting. Like the Kasabuski fight was an exciting fight. It was absolutely exciting. Outside of the whole let me how many times can I get hit in the balls type of thing. Because Kasabuski was a head to case and wanted out of the fight. But this time, I think F.A. Jabba put together possibly his best professional performance like to date. Like,
yeah, that jab was a battering ram, and I mean I know he's improved since he lost to Frank Sanchez, but he's this kind of I mean maybe it's the level he's facing, but this like showed a lot of the most improvement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he was like the jabs, he mixed in the right hands, the uppercuts, and Goodall. Like, although I mean he was firing back though, but Joseph Goodall clearly did not have good enough defense, because F.A. Jabba is a guy that is a heavy-handed guy, is an extremely heavy-handed guy. So he's not, and shout out to Johnny Rice. Johnny Rice. Johnny would tell me too, like over and over again, how heavy-handed dude was, because he's sparred with him and he's fought him before. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, he should be taking. And Goodall was taking these shots clean, and as early as like round 2, you see his legs kind of like he was buckling all over the place. Third round, he was badly. Goodall was badly getting his ass beat.
He did like he didn't. He had no confidence the whole fight because of that jab.
Yeah,
because it's been a while since the Jabba got a knockout. it feels like.
It does, because after that Frank Sanchez fight, because I mean I was there when he fought Stephen Shaw, and I remember I was there and I was disappointed, because I was like where's the guy that was one punching some of these guys, getting them out of there? Like really, like there was nothing, like none, like the fire was gone.
But yeah, I think he was a little more reluctant and scared of the power, I guess, or I mean something like that, because
right.
Goodall was able to walk through Stephen Shaw, common opponent they had, and get him out. They're not thought to play the triangle theory, but he just looked like he didn't. Yeah, Well, Jogba was just a little too much for him.
Yeah. There was a clear level, and Goodall, although Goodall, I mean, Goodall will probably be an interesting heavyweight to keep around, keep him in fights like this. But yeah, F.A. Jabba clearly showed that he was on a different level from him, and F.A. Jabba in the fourth round, like when he pretty much he pretty much finished dude off in the fourth round with uppercuts and the jab and the right hand. Like, yeah, this shit was crazy. Like,
Do you think that was a premature? That was also good. That was decent stuff.
That was a good stoppage because the funny thing is too, if Goodall actually went down and actually cleared his head, it would have been one thing. But dude was rocking and rolling all over the ring, like he was gone, like he had no legs and everything like that. And it's only so long a referee is going to actually allow that shit to go on without him firing.
He was thinking legging for a hot second for sure. Yeah, he was on the noodle legs for a minute. So
yeah, there was nothing wrong with that stoppage because all it was delaying. If Goodall wasn't going to go down, I could see F.A. Jabba lining him up for like a coup de grace type of shot to really lay him out.
Yeah, it would have been bad for sure.
Yeah. So like there's absolutely positively nothing wrong with that stoppage. So like I said, F.A. Jabba, at least because like I said, because Top Rank needs its heavyweights because right now Top Rank heavyweights are a mixed bag. Now we have of course Fury, who of course is licking his wounds from the whole Ngannou fight, and then you have Jared Anderson, who we just learned of today got arrested for OVI and improperly having firearm in his car, like a double whammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Top Rank needs a heavyweight. Needs a heavyweight now that's at least that's standing on business. Like
I saw Zhang was there.
Yeah, and Zhang obviously was there too.
I mean, that would be a perfect call. I mean, just imagine. I think Zhang obviously a little much. Zhang's older, but I mean, imagine a Jogba Zhang as the co-main for a Usyk Fury. I mean, that sounds like a super fire co. You know what I'm saying? Like I would not be mad at that as a co-main at all. I would not.
Yeah, but I also don't think. I also don't think that Zhang is not interested in fighting F.A. Jabba. I think Zhang is wanting his title shot.
Yeah, but he was there. He was actually at the fight.
He was there.
Yeah, he was interviewed. I think he was interviewed or some shit. But he was around. So I mean, yeah. But obviously, he saw what happened as Zhang. You see what happened to Joyce. He took his title shot.
He took his interim.
You don't want to be next on that Summer Jam screen.
Yeah, because Zhang realizes how close he is. Because Zhang is 40 years old, and I know heavyweights they kind of last a little bit longer, but they don't last that much longer before their physical skills start fading. Like so,
facts.
He's in a situation now where, I mean, obviously, although he's not next in line to face the Fury Usyk winner, but he's close. And and of course, obviously, if the WBO decides to strip Usyk at any given time, or Usyk gives it up, then then Zhang is the new WBO heavyweight champion. So, So he's in a position right now, and I don't know. I personally, I would love to see a Zhang Jabba fight because that would be a hell of a fight, and that could be like a fight of the year. Yeah, no, but.
Would you do a Makhmadov or versus because Makhmadov has faced the Calm, so would you have Makhmadov face a Jogba, or is this kind of even that's just like
I want to Makhmadov because Makhmadov is not learning anything from who he's been facing. Makhmadov is with the exception of I think Takam, like
the Calm fight I watched that it was one of those Canada Friday night cards, right?
And then with
nonstop with the windmill, like the windmill kept landing no matter what. You know what I'm saying? It was like damn.
I think they need to get Makhmadov into the swing of things, and they also need to, like I said, I don't know. I mean, Zhang can't be inactive forever, so I know they're gonna put him in the ring with somebody. But yeah, like F.A. Jabba, now you can add him there. Like you can make interesting fights with all these guys. You can absolutely make
heavyweight's not one of the weaker divisions right now. I mean, like heavyweight's kind of deep, somewhat.
Well, heavyweights it's weak because these guys are not really fighting.
I mean, there's a good a good selection of 10 plus fighters in the division is what I mean.
Yeah, no, there is, but I mean, they either are not fighting or they're not, or they're having all types of glitches. And, like I said, Fury was the last heavyweight around that wasn't glitching, and then he almost lost to a debuting MMA fighter. So it's
Yeah,
like,
straight up.
yeah, these heavyweights, they're heavily flawed, and usually with heavily flawed, either they're talented and or they're flawed and they're fun and they'll go fight and they'll fight anyone the way they need to. So,
Yeah, straight up.
but yeah, no. Shout out to FA Java, for that was a good win, and it capped off a pretty good night of top ranked boxing. Like it wasn't a struggle or anything like that. Though it was actually a good little show. But like I said, they weren't big cards, so I get it. People were probably like, it was like status quo, like it was like a came and went, but they were entertaining for what they were, and like sometimes you need that.
You do definitely. You definitely need that.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at Anthony Manzano's comments again. Cuban school boxing is basically the boxing that Eastern European fighters use. Yeah, yeah, of course, absolutely. Yeah, like if you ever heard us in the past, we've had less than positive enthusiasm about the Cuban style school of boxing. Although we do believe that it is making a comeback. Like I
Yeah,
said,
but I mean, you got guys like Morel, who's like kind of remixing the school. It's like he's turned to a charter school, like he's getting some
yeah,
knockouts.
yeah, because I think most of the Cuban fighters today are more offensive than what's typical. Because usually most Cuban fighters are like when we think about Cuban fighters, I think Arislani Lara is who we think of. Like that's Cuban style, basic a 1-2, like a 1-2 or a 1-3 or some shit like that.
Well,
Like
young Willis, a young Lara, because now Lara became like a stationary knockout artist, counterpuncher type shit.
yeah,
Now, but the 154 Lara was that's what we think.
yeah, either that or the Bartholomew brothers. Like that's what you think. And like I said, the connotation behind that is, and of course Rigo and all that. Like they all were fighting somewhat too similar, and it wasn't entertaining. So it's like,
it wasn't, yeah.
yeah.
Because
So
Rigo would knock a nigga out, but it'd be boring until he did. It'd be kind of boring, it'd be real boring until he did. Usually,
facts. No, absolutely facts. It would absolutely be boring. And Rigo was never. But I can go off on Rigo, but I don't want to go off on Rigo, right? Because I know Rigo right now is trying to resurrect his career after coming back from what probably should have been a career-ending freak accident with his eyes and a steam cooker. So, but then Anthony, when he looked at Raymundo, it reminds me of Ray Muratalla. He's a mixture of Esteban de Jesus and Miguel Cotto. That's an interesting combination. Miguel Cotto and Esteban de Jesus. You know what? I mean, I've seen more than enough Esteban de Jesus fights, but I might actually have to run. I might actually run back some highlights just to see if I can see what you're talking about for him. Yeah, Miguel Cotto was prime Miguel Cotto. I'm not talking about the Miguel Cotto that kind of disgraced himself near the end of his career, but the Cotto of like 140 and 147 was a vicious Cotto. Like that was.
He was.
Yeah, like super vicious. But I don't ever. Yeah, well, De Jesus definitely had the movements. Cotto was not a guy that did that gave angles. That wasn't his type of fighting.
Yeah, Cotto was very versatile to me. I like Cotto. I mean, he was a very versatile fighter, but yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Cotto was a converted southpaw and very versatile. It's great. Like, bro, would brawl with you, like and Cotto was something different. Was something 140, 147. Cotto was a beast.
Yeah.
And let's see, can you blame Raymond's for the lack of competition he has in Mexico that is professional levels? Are we talking about the same person? Like Raymond, Muratala's he's been fighting in the U.S. That's what I'm trying to say. What can you blame him for? Yeah, no, Raymond Muratala's been fighting in the U.S. As far as I know, he is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first.
He's with RGBA. He's with the Robert Garcia School of Boxing Academy. So he's gonna, he's been, I think a good fight maybe him versus Maxie Hughes, even though people think it's kind of boring. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Maxie Hughes and Cambosos need to fight again, but I think Cambosos wants no parts of Maxie Hughes, like not even a little bit. Yeah, because everyone keeps telling him that he escaped. He escaped with that win. He got a gift and everything. I can't see that fight happening again. Like I said, I don't think Cambosos even wants that fight. Oh man, but yeah, get into this preview real quick because as we mentioned before, the fact that ESPN is doing a card like this on a Thursday, like that shit is like it's still crazy for me to even say that this fight's a double fight like this, and I think it's because I think it's because of Heisman night. But it's just crazy to me that we're getting a doubleheader like this.
On a
We get
Thursday.
as we get Shakur Stevenson facing Edwin Dos Santos for the vacant light WBC lightweight title. And the funny thing is too is like we all thought that because Edwin Dos Santos was not the original opponent. Frank Martin was. Frank Martin was the original opponent, and then there was a whole bunch of he said this, he said that, and Frank Martin kind of dropped out of the fight, which was disappointing because I think everyone wanted to see Shakur versus Frank Martin. Like that fight had buzz.
Yeah, yeah. That was disappointment.
Yeah. Oh, Deontay Jones, trust me, when we're done talking about this preview, bro, I'm gonna rant about your Cowboys, bro. You're gonna get that work, bro. Just wait till I get through this preview. But yeah, like, and it's just because Frank Martin, and the fun things too is like, because it's hard to say, if like this, if it's Shakur's fault, because Shakur got himself another opponent in Edwin Dos Santos. Edwin Dos Santos pretty much got his shot by just saying he's available on Twitter. Like
He's
like
been pushing for it. So people want to say Frank Martin ducked. That's neither here nor there. Seems like it, but Dylan has been wanting to smoke with Shakur for a minute. Showing up to his city, quote unquote. Doing the whole theatrics.
yeah, and it was, but like I said, because Frank Martin, because the only reason why you can say that Frank, like I'd say we're still waiting because it all depends on who Frank Martin is facing. Now, Frank Martin is facing someone of a lesser variety then it'll be he ducked. He ducked, and you don't want to say that because Frank Martin is a good fighter, but if you have a chance to fight a top pound for pound fighter for a vacant title, why won't you do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, and you find but like I said, I'm not saying that Frank Martin duck until we figure out who he's actually fighting next. But shout out to Edward Dos Santos for showing initiative. I do said like, wait a minute, hold up, I'm next in the rankings. Like I want this fight, and he got it pretty much.
Yeah.
Shakur was like, yeah, I'm gonna send you the contract, and the shit got made. And truthfully, I like to see. I like to hear more fights being made that way. And like I said, and it was like I say, and I'm excited about this fight too because Edwin Dos Santos at least has some momentum going into this fight. He had the win against Joseph Adorno this summer, and then last year, he scored an upset. Knocking out Jose Valenzuela out in 3 rounds in a brutally too at that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And as I mentioned before, like he's on a 3-fight win streak since taking the loss to William Foster III on Showbox.
Yeah. He had that fight, which I was hyping up that I was kind of wrong about, the Adorno fight. But he dominated Adorno. He outboxed.
Yeah, he dominated. Yeah.
Dominated. But I expect to be a little more competitive, which obviously it wasn't at all.
Yeah, I don't know what Adorno was doing that day. Like, Adorno was on some other shit that day. He wasn't focused.
Yeah.
But hey, sometimes but you have to stay ready. So Dos Santos was he got the victory. So now we have basically, like I said, in the WBC lightweight title. Now, as we all know, WBC likes to do its champion emeritus status because Devin Haney, for all intents and purposes, is still the top guy. Devin Haney is still the top guy at lightweight. Like he's unquestionably the top lightweight in the world. And nothing can take that from him. No, it's not Tank. It's not Shakur. It's not Pitbull Cruz. It's Devin Haney. Devin Haney is the top lightweight in the world.
Even though I don't see him fighting at the weight anymore, he does have 3 of the belts. So even though I don't see him fighting at lightweight again, but that's just mine.
But as of right now, he holds all the belts.
Minus one, right? Because this one's for WBC, so he kind of dropped this one in a sense.
He dropped it in a sense, but I think the rule is obviously if he does go back to lightweight, he has the right to challenge whoever.
He gets first dibs. He gets first dibs
at Shakur. And truthfully, why wouldn't you want to see that fight? Why wouldn't you want to see that?
Because I figure we're going to see that down the line, maybe like at welterweight. If both guys are undefeated by then. I just don't see it happening right now because Haney can barely make. You saw Haney look ghoulish at 135 the past few fights at weigh-ins.
I've been to 2 Devin Haney fights. Yeah, I've seen it up and close, bro. Devin Haney is Devin. Motherfucker be on thinner status, at the weigh-ins and shit like that.
Yeah, this is the 140
but he's a professional, so I respect it because dude is professional. He comes in and he's literally doing the things that he needs to do to make fights and win these fights and everything.
To carve a legacy, right? Because Shakur, for all the praise he gets, he did lose the belts and the skills.
Yeah, exactly. So Shakur and Del Santos. Now Del Santos has never been KO'd before, and he has lost on a close split decision. So Pilot, how do you see Stevenson and Del Santos playing out, and what's your prediction?
I'm gonna be optimistic here. I think I've said this before, but I want Shakur to get some knockouts. I know he stopped Yoshino and dominated the hell out of Yoshino.
Yeah, hell yeah, he did.
They dominated him because a lot of people were quote unquote. I wouldn't say they're ducking him, but a lot of people were turning down the fight because with Shakur, it's it's a low. The risk of getting schooled the way you might not be worth it for some of those some of those guys in the rankings. I guess until he gets a belt at least. Because Shakur does have skills. I think he only had one fight at 135, but he's like a pound for pound future great, right? He's
absolutely. Because the thing is, though, dude is barely losing rounds. He
doesn't lose rounds much, and I do wonder about his chin. Eventually, if someone could crack the half Puerto Rican, but I don't think it's going to be Edwin. I think Edwin will test him a little bit. I just hope it's not one of those Shakur Nakatia where Shakur just doesn't engage at all and just sweet sign says you 12 11-1 type shit. Go ahead, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, I agree because I know that was a big thing too. Because I remember, of course, Stevenson was the main event following after fucking Felix Verdejo got knocked out, and we're thinking about against Toka Khan Clary, and they're like, oh, okay, he's gonna get rid of dude, and then instead he stunk it out in the main event, and then the Nakatia fight was worse, because he sweet science the fuck out of him, even knocked him down, but but he was afraid to engage.
You need to apologize on Twitter after. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
you literally have to say that. You know what I'm saying? It's Twitter fingers, but obviously, I'm gonna be optimistic and just say he's gonna get another KO here, like in round 9. It could very well be the case where it's just a 9-3 sort of a dominant decision win, but I'm hoping, because when I think about the lightweights, I try not to count Haney. I know he has 3 belts and he has all. I don't know he's gonna fight there again, but Tank gets the knockouts, and I think Shakur wants to I saw Shakur at the football game, on Fox or whatever, just getting some shine there. So yeah, I think Shakur wants to be as great as he's touted to be, and I think getting a knockout on a dude who is decently well known in the Boston community would be a nice cap on the feather for him. So I'll say round 9.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I do think because obviously the biggest thing about what makes Shakur Stevenson difficult to fight is the fact that he's so defensively responsible. like I said, usually by now, if someone has about 20 fights, give or take, so you at least have an idea of how he would actually take his power and everything like that. Like have an idea on how But like I said, we've barely seen Shakur take any solid shots like that. Like, and he's fought a Valdez, he's fought a Nakatia, he's fought a Joet Gonzalez. These are guys that can that have more than enough pop to actually do some damage. And he hasn't landed anything on them. Like they land nothing on him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I know Oscar Valdez. I mean, I know he didn't say in the Oscar Valdez fight. I know you saw the clip. Oh, Oscar Valdez hurt me with a body shot, but I never said anything. I don't know why he said that on the podcast, but
Yeah.
He had a good poker face because nobody could tell he was hurt by that body shot.
Right. Hey, something. I mean, if you're sparring someone like Terrence Crawford, you probably learn how to do a poker face. From anyone.
Better, yeah.
Yeah. But I will say this though. I mean, I honestly think Del Santos will. I think Del Santos will be game, but I just think Shakur's defense and his boxing will just keep him frustrated. It'll get him to the point where Del Santos will almost be gun shy to throw and have fear of being countered. And then I honestly don't. As much as I want to say not I actually see this thing going the distance. I think Shakur will be more offensive because I think he realizes that if you want a tank fight or you want people more interest to a tank fight or a Haney fight, you gotta go on the offensive. But I don't think he has the power to stop Edwin Del Santos like that though. So I think Santos will probably first he'll just get outboxed and then he'll just probably get beaten up down the stretch. So I'm thinking Shakur is just going to win a decision, a very clear decision. I'm talking about.
This seems realistic. Would it make you like surprised, or I don't know what the word is, but if he was to get the stoppage, would that be like kind of damn okay Shakur type of thing?
Mildly surprised, but you know what? That's why we have betting apps. So you know what? Let me go see what FanDuel's talking about. Yes, FanDuel, because gambling is legal in Massachusetts. They legalized it this year. So, I've been having a lot of fun using this, but gamble responsibly, people. Like, only gamble what you can afford to lose.
Disclaimer, if you have an issue, call Google.
Yeah, Google
Google number.
FanDuel actually has a number on here. If you have a gambling problem, they can tell you to call. It's just funny as hell.
Generous neighbors, generous enabling.
Yeah, right now I don't have an active bet, but I will have one very soon. So if we look at the money line for Stevenson Del Santos, Stevenson is a minus 1350 favorite. Del Santos is a plus 720.
Ooh,
okay. So now, if we go for method of victory, a Stevenson points decision obviously is minus 250. Stevenson KO TKO is plus 320. So there's probably some value in putting some money on that. A draw is plus 1700, and so is an Edwin Del Santos points of decision is also 1700, and Santos KOing him is plus 920.
Damn. So, seems possibly somewhat juicy odds, but I don't know.
Yeah, like the only honestly, if I also put anything on there, I'd put money on Stevenson, maybe on the Stevenson KO, because at least that seems like likely. But
yeah,
with what you're talking about, Pilot, in terms of the round, well, I don't think they don't have the individual round yet. They just have like the group round bettings and stuff like that. But in one bet, if Stevenson wins between 7 and 12, like you said, 9, it's plus 500. Or another one is if it's 7 and 9, it's plus 1,000. So like, yeah, there's some pretty decent odds for this fight. But I find more value in putting some money on the maybe on a Shakur KO. Because you're not gonna win a decision.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna win a decision. Yeah, you're not gonna win shit.
Yeah, like if Stevenson loses a decision, And yeah, that must mean that the stars aligned for fucking Edwin Dos Santos. Like seriously.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
A technical decision, that's a slow, but a 12-round decision, like nah, like absolutely not. But yeah, but let's say like I said, hopefully Shakur shows up and shows the fuck out. Because like I said, because yeah, lightweight right now is steaming hot. It's like scorching hot, and Shakur can possibly lead the lightweights after the Devin Haney era officially comes to an end, whenever that will be.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a month and 3 days from now, hopefully.
Maybe.
if he beats Regis.
And then also too, it has a co-main too, because I don't think they haven't released the full card yet. At least I don't think they have. But the co-main though is one Emmanuel Navarrete, the current WBO super featherweight champion, and he will be defending against Robson Consejo. Of course, Consejo is more known for two things. He's known for the Valdez fight, in which Valdez this was the T fight, in which Valdez popped dirty, but for whatever reason, the local commission in Arizona let him fight anyways, all hopped up on goofballs and shit. And Valdez, although was getting outworked early by dude, Consejo kind of faded down the stretch and allowed Valdez to claw himself back and actually win the fight. And I have no problem with that decision. I just have a problem with Valdez fighting with specialty in the system and didn't get stripped of his belt.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah, that was stupid crazy. And then of course the Shakur Stevenson fight where Shakur missed weight on his belts, so all his belts were vacant. And truthfully, that's probably the only blemish you can say for Shakur Stevenson, is because it wasn't very professional that he blew weight like he did and lost his belts on the scales.
He was like 2 at least almost 3 pounds over. So I was like, damn, it was like fuck it, I'm not gonna make the weight, so I'm not gonna kill myself to make it. Basically, it has to be, yeah. When you're professional,
that wasn't professional. I didn't like that, And then like I said, Casale had nothing for him. Like Stevenson, did Stevenson things. So now he's fighting Emmanuel Navarrete, who, again, Emmanuel Navarrete is probably one of the most difficult fighters around. Like Emmanuel Navarrete has beaten so many different types of fighters. Like obviously, we all know he came into public view, when he fought Isaac Dogbe, and their first fight was fucking ridiculous because, like I said, he came out of nowhere and outworked Dogbe down the stretch. And Dogbe, God bless him, he tried so fucking hard. Like he fought his heart out to keep his belt, but he couldn't. He had nothing for him, and then he stopped Dogbe in the rematch.
The first fight was pretty sad because there was water all over Dogbe's corner and shit. Like I remember just it being a mess, and yeah, I mean
because Dogbe was honestly a candidate for fighter of the year. Like he didn't have to take that fight too. That was his fourth fight of that year, that calendar year. He didn't have to take that fight. Like I mean that was just a war. That was supposed to be like a warm up, and he ended up losing his belt.
Yeah, I mean when you see the size difference, like Dogbe is a short, the short 122, and Navarrete is tall as fuck. He could probably top out at 135. Really,
Yeah. But then after that, though, it's just like the wins that dude was getting, like the quality ones, like the Ruben Villa win. I know LB was the one, was thinking that Villa would actually take him apart because Villa is a good technical fighter, and instead Villa just could not handle the unorthodox attacks that dude was throwing. Whatever was thrown at him, and it's just like dude was just because Navarrete is an elite volume puncher. He's a volume puncher that can actually punch. And those are the worst guys. Most people don't like to deal with that because they do a whole lot of damage.
It's a lot. Wait, real quick. Was it Baez the one that me and you were watching? We both thought he was losing until he got knocked out? Which fight was that? The one where
That was the bias fight. That
Yeah,
one was just, that was the first time you probably really saw like a real like a dent in his armor. Because I mean, because like I said, because dude was looking untouchable. Like the Christopher Diaz fight, that was the war. He knocked him out. He gave Joel Gonzalez probably his worst beating to date. Like that was a horrific beating he ended up to him. Like Joel Gonzalez didn't even bother to say that he won the fight. He was just like, yeah, I lost. My man fought a good fight. We'll fight again. But the Baez fight though, that was an alarming fight because I remember I think me and you both were, because me and you both watched that live, and we were thinking to myself like, I was like, God damn, like Baez is actually putting his foot in Navarrete's
Then he questioned Navarrete's boxing skills, which obviously in the fight before this one, it kind of got me back on his stock. You know what I mean? Because he looked kind of bad. He was getting outboxed, getting beat to the punch.
Yeah,
the whole fight.
Yeah, and then he ends it. He Wilders himself with stopping Drew with a body shot, and then earlier this year, he had the fight with Liam Wilson, which is a fight of the year candidate. Like that shit was back and fucking forth. Like Navarrete goes down, he's almost knocked out several times in the fight, but
that's when he got the 20-second count, right?
Yeah, that's when he got the 20-second count. Yeah, yeah. I know people were calling that shit out. And then he raised Liam Wilson's stock too with a fight. But that was a great back and forth gut check fight. And then he followed it up about 3 months ago by beating the shit out of Oscar Valdez. And that's not even hyperbole too. That was another fight of the year candidate too, though. Like he had two really hard brawls. Like Valdez, Valdez, he had Valdez crying in his locker room and shit, all with the dirty cameras on him and everything. And truthfully, I know Robson Castillo is a decent fighter, is a good fighter, but I don't see him having that type of moment against Navarrete. Like honestly, I'm thinking like once because Navarrete though, it takes him a little while to warm up. Like Navarrete's not the type of guy to like go like full speed ahead. Like he will. He does take some time to warm up, but once he does, he's a bastard to fight. And honestly, I think he's gonna get Castillo out of there probably by like round 8 or something like that. So that's my prediction. What about you, Pilot?
Yeah, I mean a similar vibe. I think Navarrete, he had that Baez fight, that Liam Wilson fight that kind of made me like, is he a struggle boxer? But I feel like he's hit his groove now. I don't know if he's overstayed his weight at 130 because he is a big dude. But he showed the element in the Oscar Valdez fight I didn't know he had. He was kind of bouncing in and out, setting up the jab. Just it was a different Navarrete, and I think he's going to build on that. And I think he's trending upwards because now he's hitting those top 10 lists. I feel like pound for pound, right? I mean, it feels like he's like a pound for pound fighter on entering those lists, 8-ish. I don't know, he has had a hell of a run. And Robson Castillo has kind of been trending downwards. I think he's kind of been on a few I know he had a bigger fight that was canceled. I think it was against Abraham Nova, but that fight got kind of sort of derailed. His passport or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he has his I just think that Oscar Valdez fight he had was like the best of him, and it hasn't really been, he hasn't captured that magic since. The fight he got robbed supposedly against Oscar Valdez. So I just think overall, Navarrete will be too long for him. Pause and beat him to the punch every time and get a knockout probably in round 6. Yeah.
And so far, because I'm just taking a look at the odds for him, as of right now, they only have the money line on him, like none of the like the method of victory. And so far, Conceição is a plus 700 underdog. Navarrete a minus 1300 favorite. So, yeah. Again, these are
cheese on that. You could win some cheese on that fight if Robson won. If you want to donate some money.
Yeah, no. If you and I can see it too, like because like I said, Navarrete hasn't. I mean, Navarrete has looked more beatable, but not really. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean the Liam Wilson fight was pretty bad. he got hit pretty bad and knocked down pretty bad. But I mean, Mexican fighters just got retarded chins, man. They just got that freaking that something in them, man. That just is just a warrior in them, man. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, like not and like I said, it's funny to me that Navarrete does have a loss. I mean, he has an early loss in his record. Like it's a loss that you can't even find a video because I be wondering who the like, how was he beaten? Because like I said, Navarrete's fought more than enough people that could have actually beaten him by now, and the
I mean, he
odds
got that one loss way early on, but yeah, that was way early on. So I was like,
right.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like but like I said, I look forward to it because like I said, Thursday the 16th, we're not gonna be casting. We're gonna be watching the fight. And I don't think there were any other fights that were announced just yet because I think they've just all been selling. They've all been on that, selling those two particular fights.
Yeah, I mean they got the Brian Norman who's been signed to Top Rank after he had some like Tank and Crawford sparring stories, but he'd been on the welterweight, been on Top Rank twice, and hasn't produced a knockout even though he has a high percentage for KO, and he just hasn't really he's fighting some undefeated guy named Quentin Randall who's another welterweight, but I'm not sure what else is on that card to be honest.
Yeah, because I know when I look, because Top Rank sends us everything, but I don't think they've, yeah, because right now, okay, here we go. Yeah, they actually do have it. So yeah, Brian Norman is on there, and Quentin Randall, which is a good fight. Although I'm not 100%, I'm not 100% convinced on Brian Norman because I was there live earlier this year when I saw Brian Norman fight for his Top Rank debut, and he
Was
did
it the Asian guy? When you find the Asian guy?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and you're supposed to get him out of there. He might have hurt him, but he kind of became nothing after he came. But kind of just became a long ass 8 or 10 rounder after he couldn't get him out.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was kind of like a struggle shit. It was kind of struggle
Yeah,
shit, and then
that's a weight division like welterweight where Top Rank, so they need somebody to fill that void of a new. I mean, they got Centillion, but I mean, like they don't have a, you have a chance. You could be the premier welterweight, knockout guy, but you can't get the knockout since you've been on the big leagues.
Well, right now Santillan is probably their marquee welterweight for now.
Yeah, for now.
With that victory that he got. Well, yeah, Brian Norman though, because you think with the 24-0-19 KOs, you think he's a bad motherfucker, but I haven't seen that yet.
Not yet. I mean, again, he's made his name like giving Crawford and Tank and other guys, hard sparring, but and he does have a high, like 22 wins, 19 KO type thing, but he ain't getting knockout since you've been, with Top Rank. So
yeah, exactly. So now would be a perfect fucking time to start. And then also too, we have hold on. So we have Floyd Cashflow Diaz and Max Ornelas also fighting. That's a good little prospect fight. And then probably the most interesting undercard fight of there. We got Troy Isley 10-0 with 4 knockouts facing Vladimir Hernandez. That is a fucking that is good. If there's a gut check fight for Troy Isley, is this one because Vladimir Hernandez is on a roll right now.
He's the prospect killer. He beat Tank's big bro, a little bro, Truck Simpson. Truck Simpson was a highly talented PBC. I was watching. Shouts out. We need OTX back. Fuck, he was on OTX and he lost to 0 in a tough fight. Man, that was Vladimir Hernandez is the 154 fucking.
See, look, for Lukey, he is someone who I'd call a gatekeeper because he's capable of springing upsets, but he does lose to people that he's supposed to lose to, like Madrimov and Sissoko have wins over him. And then, but then also too, he has wins over Alfredo Angulo, a faded version of him, but a win, as well as upsetting J-Rock, and then he lost to Jesus Ramos, and who doesn't, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, Lubin, kind of,
okay. Of course. But then he rebounded and took another 0 from Lorenzo Truck Simpson on the overtime cards. So yeah, no, I look forward to it because Troy Isley could, like, honestly, if there's odds on that fight, and they'll probably be released closer to the fight, and I see that, I will put money on Hernandez actually upsetting Isley. That's just me though, because I just feel because Isley has shown
I just think he don't have the power. He's a good boxer. I mean, I think he has a little bit more tool in his toolkit than Truck obviously did. Because Truck, watching that fight, Truck was thinking he was Tank, because he looked up the Tank. He was trying to get that one shot like Tank, and it just wasn't happening. And he got worn out because Vladimir's that kind of fighter. I think Isley, if Isley wins that fight, then he might, he's legit. I mean, he's a legit fighter anyway. I'm just saying, but if Isley can win that fight, that'd be Vladimir Hernandez doesn't have the best record, but real ones know that's a really
real ones know that he Isley's in for a fight on that one. And then we have Abdullah Mason, again, lightweight prospect, someone who might be the future of the lightweight division, facing Jose Cardenas. That's a good fucking fight. And then we have Andres Cortez, who was who saw in the summer knocking out Xavier Martinez in a very underrated fight.
That was a good fight.
Yeah. I feel sorry for Xavier Martinez. Xavier Martinez was undefeated when he left PBC to come to Top Rank because he wanted because they were stronger, I think, at 126 or 130, and he's been taking nothing but L's since.
Yeah.
He
has.
Yeah. Like
Castro Diaz, I like Castro Diaz. I'm not gonna lie though. I know he was the kid in that Floyd Manny All Access back in the day, but he looks prone to like getting defeated eventually. I mean, not everybody can be. I see flaws with him. Maybe he'll get it fixed, but I see some flaws with him. That he's a good fighter though. He brings it. Yeah,
and I know Cortez. He'll be facing Freddie Fonseca. And that's like I said, that should be a. That should be a really good scrap there. There's something for everything. Like this Top Rank card is actually it's a well put together card. If you watch it from beginning to end, of course.
Like us boxing junkies do.
Yeah, like we do. And since it's one of one of Top Rank's biggest cards, so obviously we will. Of course, we will watch it. So yeah. Definitely that day, we will not watch it because we won't be. We are watching. We won't cast that particular day. But yeah, no, I look forward to it. It's like I'll probably make sure I go to the gym super early just so I can get back in time and everything like that because it'll be kind of wild for me. It'll still be a trip. Yeah, I think that is it. But before we get up out of here. I gotta talk about football shit. So Deontay Jones, man, what did I say, bro? What the fuck did I say? Like you can. And I will say this though, you Cowboys, you motherfuckers scrapped. Like you guys, Dak had a fucking field day. Like dude was slinging that football like he threw for almost. Did he throw for almost like 400 yards? Pilot, like something like that, like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. That was a. I'm not gonna lie, the fucking Cowboys had 3 shots in the end, like they had 3 chances, you know what I'm saying? Like 3 drives it felt like to get the lead, but Eagles defense, man, like the Eagles defense stepped up when they had to majorly.
Yeah, because honestly, I mean, as an Eagles fan, like that, like I mean, I get it. All these division games are always gonna be a motherfucker, like like Commanders or the Giants or especially the punk ass Cowboys, man, like. Especially the punk-ass Cowboys, but this game was just something different. Like, I know both Eagles and Cowboys fans that I know, we were all saying, like, this was just a different-ass fight. Like, this different-ass game. Like, honestly, like, I was, like, I'm over here sitting at I'm sitting on my couch, like, really standing up right now. And because this nigga LB, he texted me in the middle of he texted me while I was watching this game, talking about, can I put some bets in for basketball? I'm like, nigga, do you see I'm watching these Eagles? Like, what is you doing? It's like, I was like, it's like, you should ask P. P would have done that shit for you. Like, I mean, I did it, but I was just like, you gotta like, if I'm watching these Eagles, man, I don't want to be putting money. I don't want to be making no bets on FanDuel. The reason why is because FanDuel is not legal in Florida. So on occasion, LB will send me some money to put in some bets on occasion. And in this particular case, he did it during this particular Eagles game. And I was just like, fuck. Like, I did it because I did it real quick because the NBA games were starting. But I was like, yo, you can't be doing that because this fucking game had so many ebbs and flows. But yeah, you're right. Like, because I know most people were like, oh no, the refs were trying to give the Eagles the game. Nigga, the Eagles were trying to give the Cowboys the game. Like, the fuck?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, again, like I swear, like it was 20 and 23. Cowboys had 3 shots. In the last drive, they actually made it to the goal line. But,
Cowboys were first and goal at the 6-yard line.
You were probably tripping. You're like, because it was like if they scored a touchdown, the game was over. You're probably on the cusp of fucking breaking that shit.
Yeah, honestly, I was over here like I was getting ready to like break something. Like I don't know if it was gonna be my table or the lamp or something, but I was getting like, nigga, I was getting ready to lose my shit. And then of course, then Dak gets sacked 2 times. I think there's another penalty, and then all of a sudden it's like 3rd and whatever the fuck, and then
they got a little closer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then Dak, for whatever reason, throws to CeeDee Lamb, who and has no one. Like CeeDee Lamb is literally all by himself, knowing damn well. Like I'm not saying that the Eagles secondary is competent, but there's 3 of them motherfuckers in the area, and no one to at least for not even a lateral. Like there's no other Cowboys fighter out there to lateral. Like you couldn't wait till someone at least was there, so you could throw it to them, and maybe they could lateral away from the secondary like that. But as soon as Lamb caught that shit, there was no one latch, and they all tackled him.
You got jumped like by 5-6 niggas on that last one.
Yeah, and I think to myself, God damn, that was a whole bunch of stupid shit. And of course, they didn't spike the ball. There was a whole lot of like mental errors that they did. That drained the clock. They didn't have no timeouts, none of that shit. Like, it was a mess. But Deontay Jones, bro, like this is why, like I said, this is why the Cowboys don't win shit. Like, because they do these bonehead moves like that. Like honestly, right now, like we have a 2.5 game lead in the NFC East.
Y'all are comfy. Y'all are 8-1, right?
Yeah, we're 8-1 going into our bye week.
I think the Cowboys now are 5-3. What are the Redskins? They're the Redskins to me. Fucking, I'm sorry.
They're like 4 or 5, I think, something like that.
Sam Howell's a decent, but yeah, y'all got the division easy. I mean, unless
I think we have 3 division wins. I think
it's looking like the Super Bowl. It's looking like Chiefs Eagles too, but you never know. But
but the Chiefs aren't looking that hot though, bro.
But they're winning the games, you know what I'm saying? They got the pedigree and they're winning the games.
Nigga, they lost to the Broncos, bro. Like,
but they're still like, they won. They beat the Dolphins never played good against. I like Tua, but the Dolphins never played good against top teams. I don't know what to think of the Dolphins because they get beat up on the shitty teams. But yeah, but I don't know in the AFC, like maybe the Bengals again. But right now, the Chiefs.
I mean, right now, I think the Ravens might actually come out of
the Ravens low key. Yeah, that's a good one. The Ravens low key are playing pretty. Yeah.
As long as there's no injuries to their QB, like
to any QB, but yeah, Lamar is low,
Lamar, because I know Lamar had issues with his knee and everything like that, so we gotta make sure that's because like I said, as long as they're healthy, honestly, because like I said, Mahomes, they haven't looked overly. They win, like I said, I think they're like us, they're winning, but they haven't looked all that. They haven't looked all that dominant, impressive. Like I said, but then the Broncos though, like who had them fucking losing to the fucking Broncos? Niggas had 70 put on them by Miami, and they're losing to the Broncos. Like, that's like 1 + 1 = 5 type shit. But yeah, the Cowboys though, like I said, but the Cowboys were in a position like our quarterback was limping. We have injuries. We have a secondary that's like absolutely trash. It was a recipe for the Cowboys to win, and they couldn't win.
Yeah, so, that was the recipe. Yeah, that was good. I mean, again, the Cowboys play you guys tough because it looked like for the longest you guys were comfortably winning, but like Cowboys made a little late run, but you've held them off when you had to.
Yeah, like the defense woke up when we needed to because we were able to get through. And but like I said, we're like after the bye week, we're entering our longest stretch of our toughest stretch of the season. Like we got the Chiefs, we got the Bills, we got the Cowboys again. Like we got the Seahawks. Like we got teams that we got a stretch like if we go undefeated in November, most likely we're gonna clinch in the first week of December. We'll clinch a playoff spot either at the end if we can go undefeated, because right now we're 8-1. So pretty much I think probably the number is probably 12 or 13, depending right now if is one of when we actually can clinch a playoff spot. And I know
I mean,
I know
as long as Hurts and everybody's good, you guys. I think AJ Brown might be the best receiver. I'm not saying this because but I'm just saying AJ Brown was playing the best football as a receiver right now. I feel like he's just balling, man.
Easy. Yeah. AJ Brown is the best receiver in the league. Like,
it's not even hard to say right now when all the injuries, Jefferson's hurt and everything. Yeah, he's balling out like nobody else right now on the wideouts, man.
Yeah, no, it's that's why it's like we need to the Eagles need to get the Super Bowl win for all time, because it's gonna be, it's gonna be, because it won't look right if we do all this. It'll be like last season, and then the Chiefs pull it out on some because of some ref fuckery. Definitely Jones, y'all are 8 and done with these damn close ass dubs, dog. Hey man, a dub is a dub, man. I mean, I can read some of the scores of your Cowboys games, bro. Like I said, you guys lost. You guys got 55 hung on you. You guys got hung on you. 42 hung on you by the Niners, who had to take it easy on y'all, and y'all lost to the Cardinals by by 2 scores. Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys were not. You guys weren't sharp enough. Like, now you guys got the Giants on Sunday, so if you guys lose to the Giants, then I'm assuming that your season is probably on the ropes. Even though I think the Giants, I think they beat the shit out of the Giants earlier this season, anyways already. So
well, I mean, Daniel Jones is done. Towards ACL. Tyrod Taylor's. They're definitely trying to get the Caleb Williams pick, which they might get if
that's right. They're down to their 3rd string.
They're down to their 3rd string. They're done this year. And I mean, I like their coach. The coach got to the playoffs last year, but yeah, Giants are cooked this year. The Commanders are kind of like showing improvement, but obviously they're not talented enough to fuck with you guys. So it's an easy division right now. I mean,
no, the Commanders though, because again, this is one of those games where Sam Howell was looking all fucking world against us. We got into a shootout with Sam Howell.
He shows you decent sometimes. Yeah, sometimes he shows you decent. That game he did. That game, because y'all had to come back, right? Y'all kind of had to come back halfway to win that.
Yeah, we had to come back. We won by 1 score. Like
it was a close game. It was a close game all the way through.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad that we at least cleared the Commandos, and at least we got we'll clear the Cowboys like we usually do. Because we don't face the Giants until December, but which is wild that we're waiting that long to face them. But then by that time, it's going to be like, okay, it'll probably be like seeding.
That by that point, yeah. I mean, you guys are, you guys should have a number. Well, look who we have. We got somebody here.
Oh shit, King P. Like, just as we're winding down, man. What's good, King P?
What's going on, guys? Just wanted to tap in. Salute. My bad, couldn't make it. Was out, meeting with people, good people, shout out to Nika, shout out to Christine, great people.
Give your stuff, your picks for the Shakur fight real quick since you're here.
Shakur, late KO. I'm thinking like 11th round stoppage. Navarrete, mid round, like I'll say 6th round KO.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're thinking. Because I was rattling off like the odds for the fight, and Del Santos is a pretty sizable underdog, and so is fucking Consejo. So it's like, yeah, they're both sizable underdogs though, but but except I think Shakur will probably win it by the decision though. But yeah, Navarrete should get dude out of there though. There's no question about that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Shakur takes him the distance and wins an easy decision. I just think De Los Santos, with the way he fights and the pace that he fights, there's a good chance he might be tired. And I think by the later rounds, he might gas, and Shakur might just make a statement and just take the deep waters and take him out late.
Yeah. And like I said, I could definitely say it because that's why we're putting value, because I think Shakur KO is like plus 320. So like if there's any value in betting on that fight, betting on Shakur KO is probably your best bet.
Yeah. Also, Conceição is kind of a little bit long in the tooth, and Navarrete style is horrible for him. So I expect him to get the stoppage.
Yeah, like there shouldn't be any uh-ohs in that Navarrete. If there is that Navarrete, then something else is going on. Navarrete, if Navarrete has another uh-oh like he did against Liam Wilson and Baez. You know.
Yeah, no, I don't envision that happening, but who knows? We'll see. He should get him out of there mid rounds, and then I think that'll set up Navarrete versus Shakur next.
Yep, and truthfully, I would love that fight too. Like that's a quality fucking fight. I would love to see that fight. You know, but yeah, no, I think we got King P's input. I know LB was supposed to hop on, but I think LB can take a little break for today because LB be doing a lot of work that you don't see in the background. So yeah, you know, my man will probably join us on Thursday. You know, when we ranting, because I believe we will probably be doing like a boxing versus MMA type of rant. There might be some more details that we'll probably release on that, probably in like later on this week and everything like that. And Deontay Jones, man, don't trust me. You just sit back and watch the Eagles work, bro. Like we've pretty much wrapped up the division as it is. Like, you know, there's like we're 3-0 already in the division. So yeah, just sit back and just enjoy the show. You know, like, you know, and you worry about your own pushing to the playoffs. But yeah. So yeah, I think we gotta get up out of here. I know King P already, you know, he did his intro. I don't know if King P, if you have any final thoughts or anything like that.
I'm good. You know what it is. So I ain't got more to say.
Word. Ayo, Pilot, your final thoughts?
I don't got much to say. Shouts out to the gang, you know. Shouts out to LB. Shouts out to Rome. Everybody else listening. Glad Pete could make it late. But you know, so slow week of boxing. We got a couple things this week, but nothing major. Just stay in tune with us. I think we're gonna be back Thursday. And that's all I got. Ring It Radio. You know where we at.
Yeah, you know, again, you know, shout out to the whole crew. Shout out to King P for joining, you know, late and whatnot. LB, you know, has a little night off or whatever. Shout out to him. Shout out to the rest of the crew. They doing their thing. And yeah, man, like, you know, support us, man. You know, like I said, you know, we got the shit that you want and need. And yeah, just you know, like I said, especially of our website and our YouTube. So yeah. Listen, like, comment, subscribe. Tell everyone to do the same, and we can all be friends. And I know you see that scrolling banner. You know, we got that PayPal if you want to donate to the Ring Gang Radio or whatever. And like I said, we appreciate your patronage and your listening, and for you to take time to listen to us, you know, talk about this boxing, and also when we rant about other things. So, excuse me. So yeah, you know, for myself, you know, Pat Scorpio, the New England representative. For King P, Bodega P, and for Conscious Pilot. You know, this has been another wonderful episode of Real Talk, where, as always, shit's real, we talk about it. So until next time, peace. Cowboys suck.